It's Sonic Temple Live from the Rabbit Customs Artist Lounge, powered by #1 Rikers with 99.7 The Blitz.
All right, we are backstage with Dan from Disturbed, Sonic Temple Art and Music Fest, which is weird because it was Rock on the Range, right?
Yes, it was.
Rip. But we are here today, day 2 at Sonic Temple, and I just really want to dig right into it with you, Dan. So talk a little bit about the fact that the sickness is 19 years old. How crazy is that, right?
I know. That's insane. I mean, you saying that, I got so many things running through my head right now. But to think, even those songs that we've written them over 20 years ago, so even the ones that we demoed before we had the record deal, and it's amazing that they stood the test of time, and it's amazing that I still actually enjoy playing them.
Yeah, I mean that album was just like so full of chunky, awesome, and of course you got the wah thing, you know, all that was born. And I know I was trying to keep it really kind of low key because I don't want to upstage David.
Yeah.
You know? Let's talk a little bit about the new album, Evolution, and the 3 songs on there. Are You Ready? You know, starting with that one, and then moving on to, of course, you know, the next song that is now the one that makes us all sad. And then now you have the next track. In those choices of order, who decides that? Are you kind of trying to send a theme out?
Who decides if they're singles?
The release of those singles.
It's a collaboration of just us sitting down with management and the band of saying what we want to represent this album and what we want to go out first in what order. And with Are You Ready being the first track, I mean, surprisingly, I snuck that one in there because it's a song that I wrote musically in 2004.
Oh, wow,
and
that's awesome.
We never finished the song. We had it when we were writing the material for 10,000 Fist album. We had so much material, and I had that on the back burner. I just had the idea musically, and we already picked out what songs we were going to prioritize for the album at the time, and I just never really presented it to the guys, so I put it on the back burner. And just kind of me going back through the archives this time around, I go back to that song. I'm like, oh wow, this is cool. I forgot about this one for a bit, and I kind of snuck it back in when I was showing some of the demos to the guys. And I have a habit of bringing in stuff that I've always liked, and if it gets somewhat overlooked or passed on, like I said, we didn't spend too much time on it before, so I don't want to say it was passed on. But I find a way to sneak it back in.
I'm going to reintroduce this to you.
Right, and I didn't say anything when I did it. I just kind of played it, and right away David was listening, and he calls me up one day. He's like, "Oh, dude, I got something for this one. It's great." I'm like, "Which one?" He's like, and he describes the song. We didn't have a working title for it yet, and I'm like, after he showed me the idea melodically he had for it, then I'm like, okay, now I know this is going somewhere. Now I can let him know it's something that was started in 2004. And so it's got obviously a really cool groove to it. It's got some of the old school electronic vibe that we had more of in those early days of Disturbed. So it was kind of cool that we were able to bring that back stylistically and throw it into the mix, and it turned out great. And we thought it would be a great song to start out and introduce this album with.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's almost like we're back. Are you ready?
Right.
Is when I first heard it, I go, oh my God, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
And A Reason to Fight. Let's talk a little bit about what this addresses. It's all about, depression and drug issues and things like that amongst our musician friends and your family, and losing Scott and Chris Cornell, which is like 2 years now. And
it's too many, and Paul Gray from Slipknot, and a singer from The Prodigy, and like
Chester
you
Bennington.
said, Chester and Chris Cornell, and the list is Wayne Static, and there's just too many of our peers. And on a more personal note, those are our friends and our colleagues, and it makes you realize. And I think the first time it really hit me was when Robin Williams died, because in the past, I used to always get angry and think like that it's very selfish, and I'd get angry and think like, how could somebody do this? And you look at somebody like Robin Williams, you're like, this guy makes everybody in the world laugh. Everybody loves him. He's family, he's money, success.
Yeah.
You think you have a perfect life, and then it dawned on me that this is a disease.
Yeah.
They can't help that.
It's inside there
Yeah.
somewhere, and they don't
Right.
show it. They do everything outside for everyone else,
Right.
and it's all in there.
It's like a cancer. It could take anybody at any moment, and so on a personal note of things, early on when we started talking about subject matter that we wanted to touch on this album, I had suggested to David, I'm like, I really like to try to find a song that can touch on depression and addiction, because we've all had either family members or close people to us that have had their struggles or continue to struggle. And I have my older brother that's had his struggles, and he's on and off, and I know what a great guy he is, and I could hear it in his voice, and I could see it in his eyes of feeling like he has let people down.
And being his brother, you probably feel a little bit of his pain in your chest.
Of course. And I thought it was important for us to try to address the issue, to let people know that it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be embarrassed by. It's a disease, and don't feel you're not alone.
It's
you're not
not
alone.
taboo.
And it's not. And so our moments, as you'll see tonight too, with David addressing the crowd too, it's an opportunity for the crowd, for anybody that's experienced in that or knows somebody going through it. It gives them an opportunity to take a look around in the audience and realize that they're not alone.
Yeah.
That almost every single person, when David asked them in that moment, by a show of hands, who in the crowd is battling or knows somebody battling it, and when you see almost every single person raise their hand, the reality kicks in of the magnitude of how severe this is.
Yeah, I just kind of got goosebumps thinking about
But,
that. Yeah.
But on the positive note of that, it makes those realize that, okay, I'm not, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's nothing to hide, nothing to feel alone by, that there are people that you could turn to the person next to you and get comfort out of that.
And feel like we are the same.
We're in this together, so. And, so it's important for us to just kind of get that message out there. We're not trying to claim that we're saving the world. We're just trying to shed light on a dark subject of trying to encourage people to, when you see the signs, jump in and do what you can to try to offer a hand.
Yeah, and addressing it is what helps people. Like you said, I mean, you're just putting it out there so people realize. And I love that you use the position of being in a band that a lot of people love. And if you're addressing it, then that's going to immediately make them go, you know what? Like, I guess it's okay, Talk a little bit about the fact that you were just out on tour with 3 Days Grace, and you guys had your 6th #1 song with that, which surpassed them at number 5. Did that make it weird?
No, because they just surpassed us again.
Oh,
so
they
those
did?
bastards.
I totally missed it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
They're great guys. They're great band. Yeah, we took it for a moment, and then they released it. I think we took it when a Reason to Fight came out as a single and eclipsed them, and then they had another single come up behind us, and they took it back.
Right,
so
Left,
it's not
Wrong.
Nice. Yeah. So
that's right.
hey,
That's awesome.
it's great. I mean, they're a great band, and they wrote some many amazing songs.
For sure.
And their set was hit after hit. And I think they have the
Same with
most.
you guys.
Yeah, I mean, so consecutively we've been neck and neck with each other, but overall I think they have the most #1s over Van Halen and everybody else. So they're a great band with a great history of hit songs. So and we're lucky to be kind of creeping up on that too.
Do you guys reach out to each other and sort of plug each other and go, "Hey, we're coming up on you"?
I mean, maybe playfully on social media or something. There might have been a comment here or there. I know we do that a little bit with Zach from Shinedown too. Because they obviously break a lot of records themselves too. So it might be a playful comment here or there, but it's just great to see. So many great rock bands that are making these kind of accomplishments. It lets you know that rock's not dead.
It's not dead. Absolutely. Now, I know that David's had some surgery and he's been killing it. Like, there's no signs that he's slowing down. How is he? Is he doing anything special, like to kind of keep himself in gear for each show each night?
Yeah, he's not hanging out with us as much, drinking well, that's the thing. I mean, he's just on his best behavior. We'll go out to dinners, like we went out to dinner last night and stuff like that. On nights off, we get together, and but a lot of times he's staying in. He's taking care of himself. I mean, we'll go out and we'll have a couple drinks here and there on a night off, but he's on his best behavior. He's got it's his instrument.
It's his instrument.
So and when we're doing it 4 or 5 nights a week, we can't afford to take that risk of having to cancel because some guys can party and do that and get up there and sing, and I think stylistically, the way he sings and as melodic as he is, it's important to take care of that instrument. And he's learned that over the years, and he trains and he warms up. He's got a great vocal coach out of New York who's one of the best in the business, and she's helped develop him to not do any damage to himself. And so luckily he's been holding up great. I know he does have plans for another surgery procedure, but it's very minor stuff in the future.
Maybe like follow-up or something.
Yeah. I don't know if it was for a deviated septum or something. I'm not even sure which this procedure is, but I know that he plans to have it some point later in the year, I believe. But he's been killing it night after night. It's been great. Plus, we're playing on that tour. We've been playing the longest set we've ever played in our career. We were doing at least 2-hour sets every show, and there's hitting the ground running and killing it.
Wow. So tonight, actually, you're kicking off a new tour, right, with Pop Evil? Well, you're playing, but then you move on with Pop Evil and In This Moment? Is that right?
We just got back from Europe 2 days ago. We were over there for a month. So we're just doing this festival, and then we got Rocklahoma next weekend, and then we got to go back to Europe for another month.
Okay.
Or not just Europe, but we'll be up throughout Scandinavia and into Russia, into Greece, into Tel Aviv. So we're hitting a lot of places for the first time too, which are all doing great. Tickets are going crazy because we haven't been to some of those markets before.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back in late July, and we got a handful of dates in the U.S.
Okay.
So. And we've had Pop Evil out before and In This Moment, and they were both great bands and get along awesome with them.
I'll ask one last question because I know we got to wrap up. You guys went and played Israel for the first time, and that had to have been monumentous for David.
Well, we haven't yet.
Oh, you
haven't?
This
will be our first time in July.
When are you going? I thought
July.
you had played.
No,
wow,
it'll
that's
be
amazing.
July, early July. I think maybe the 2nd or 3rd of July, I believe.
So is there sort of a preparation for that? I mean, because that's kind of a big deal. You guys have been there before, right? But never.
Well, he's been there because he
there.
still has relatives there. His brother still lives there. He's got a lot of relatives there. But it'll be the rest of us. It'll be our first trip there. So tickets are selling like crazy. The fans have been begging us for years to come there. Usually when we're over in Europe, we have a lot of the fans from Israel that have come over to other parts of Europe to see us because we've never made the trip there yet.
Right.
And so we're excited to be going there for the first time. We'll end that run there, so we'll have a couple days off at the end of it to kind of do some sightseeing and kind of get around and meet some of the fans out there as well.
And eat some good food.
Exactly. Yeah, we're always looking for good food. We're big foodies. Anytime we have a night off, we're trying to find some good restaurant. It's hard on this lifestyle on the road. It's not easy when you're eating your dinner usually at midnight and you're having pizza on a tour bus. So you got to every once in a while on those nights off find a good restaurant and get a good meal and ask the locals where to go. And we like trying to tap into other cultures and see what they have to offer.
That's got to be the best part of a tour is to be able to sightsee when you get an opportunity and get in on some of the local culture. I love that.
Of course. I love it. It's definitely a nice perk to the business.
Well, Dan, thank you very much for your time. And, man, keep spreading the good word. Hitting the Monster main stage tonight at 10:15, headlining Sonic Temple Art and Music Fest, not Rockin' the Range anymore, 2019. Dan from Disturbed, thank you so much. Rock on, Blitz Nation.